What's up, World Wide Web? E-Daddy, for this special occasion, for this special show, I'm going to try to give it a few minutes for people to show up and try to share just a few more. I know everybody's expecting. So while I'm waiting on people to show up, we're going to try to do the show anyways. Or my internet. Maybe I need to talk to my internet provider and get better internet. Joe, if you watch this later, this is not a knock on you, but I'm starting to feel like you as far as too many issues trying to do a live video. I swear I'm going to have like all kinds of shit in my beard. I can unfeel it. Anyways, World Wide Web, it's E-Daddy, your angry toy guy, and we are unfortunately not with a guest tonight, even though I look like the guest we were supposed to have, because I was looking forward to having Joe Amato on here live with me. Google Hangouts was acting up. So we tried 2 different times to get this going. Damn, nose itches. And 2 times we had no luck. Whether it was me, and I got a feeling it was me and my internet. Because I was getting Joe on his end. It was fine. You could see him and all that. Hear him just fine. He couldn't see me or hear me for shit. So anyways, tonight, we're going to talk about one of his favorite characters. And yes, I'm talking about Modulok. Now, we can go ahead and rest assured we know that me and Joe Amato are not one and the same. One, Joe didn't have this much hair on his chin. We saw that the other day whenever he did the bean challenge. Now, I was going to wear this mask through part of this. Did the show with him. I was really looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can go through and get things fixed to where eventually I can get Joe on my show. God, how's he do this every week? All right, guys. Ugh. Joe, I love you, brother. And I know you've got a string around this thing. Whew. I got the reverse flash mask out so I could try to put that thing on there because I couldn't keep a string on it or anything. That mask you gave me last year. But anyways, my homage to Joe, because in all honesty, he was part of the brainchild, so to speak, for the angry toy guy. Man, Joe, I will give you all the props in the world for wearing that thing. Like you do in all your lives and all your shows and everything, brother. Oh, man. I am not doing the rest of that right now. I will do that at a later point whenever I go through and fix the whole internet issue. I'm sending out some invites. As we speak right now. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Joe, buddy, I had the mask on for a little bit, man. Whew. Like I said, man, I went through and I couldn't get the string to hold around my head, so I actually had to go with like some tape around it, around the reverse flash mask under here. I will give you all the props in the world, brother, for wearing this thing. I do, brother. I give you all the props in the world, man. Of course, I know you don't wear another mask underneath it, so it ain't really heating up your face, but man. So, anyways, like I said, I was trying to go through and send some invites. I'm trying. And just to fuck with Miz, I'm putting it on his. I'm hoping this right thing. Yeah, there we go. I've got guys sitting here like messaging me. Yeah, I don't see how you do that every week, Joe. I really don't. But props to you, brother. You have got my utmost respect on that one. But anyways, all right. So this week we're going to talk about several different things on top of talking about Modulok. I wanted to bring Joe Amato on board for this. Google Hangouts, like I said on Facebook, was being a bitch, but the show must go on. This weekend here in Lexington is actually Lexington Comic Con. I've been getting some footage. I'm going to try to edit it all together once the weekend's over, and then I'll post it up on here. Joe, I don't know if you caught my live on Lucky Legends, but I did go through today at Comic Con. I did manage to get myself a freaking 4-foot long stainless steel power sword that will eventually get hung up here on the wall. There's all kinds of other Masters of the Universe goodies that I wanted to get, and I probably will. Actually, Joe, it did not, believe it or not, I got the thing for like $105. And that was with the taxes included. I could not believe it. I mean, this thing, it's got to be a good 10, 15 pounds. Now, the guy said he had a couple more. And if I get a chance, if I get a chance to tomorrow, I'm going to go back up there and I'm getting me another one. Just so way I can either drive it down to Aaron's house or ship it to Aaron's house. I'll just drive it down to his house if I can get another one, and have him put that up on the Toys for Tots wheel. I would so do that. Yeah, I'm going to post more pictures later on. I did a live over at Lucky Legends earlier today, unveiling that thing. And I'll say, thing's every bit of like 4 foot long. Looks just like the one that we seen in the Man at Arms video that some guy shared there on Facebook, where he went through and he made a sword like that. So when I seen that, I was like, holy shit. And then I seen the price tag and I was going, whoa. But anyways, yeah, that's me right now, in the midst of Comic-Con. Also, in the news this week, as far as Masters of the Universe stuff goes, sad news from Funko. This little feller will be the last one of the Masters line that Funko makes, as they have apparently lost their license to produce any more Funko Masters of the Universe figures. That really sucks. Because I really liked the little things. I thought they were pretty cool. So yeah, sad days on the Funko world on that one. And then let's talk about the movie news that we know will probably never happen, especially, and if it does, it's going to be probably a fucking shitstorm after then. Whether it's true or not, the kid that they've got tapped to supposedly play He-Man, I love the work Daniel Benedict did with his fan-made movie, The Fall of Grayskull. I know Daniel was very passionate about it. I had a chance to talk to him a year and a half ago whenever he was in Lexington, to talk to him about it some. They had a guy that was supposedly... Okay, thank God he's been tapped to play Prince Adam. Okay, I can see that one. You know, hair blonde. I can see the whole Prince Adam thing. I could not, and I know I'm not the only one, could not see that kid being He-Man. There was too much CGI going to be involved. Because, I mean, good Lord, if that's going to be the case, hell, I'll send something to Sony and be like, hey, I'll play Randor. I don't see that one happening either. Yeah, that was just. I seen that, and I could just see the train wreck of a movie getting ready to happen. So, you know, if he's supposedly tapped to play Prince Adam in the movie, thank God, because I could probably go through and name 100 different guys that would probably be better to play He-Man than that, including WWE COO, whatever they call him, Triple H, Paul Levesque. He would be so much better to be He-Man. Anyways, I am dying to know who actually this Dark Six Soldier is. He's always commenting on my shows, and I love the comments he gives me a lot of times. I'm still trying to figure out who it is. I'm going to have to look it up. Me and my lazy butt. All right. But we're here to talk about Modulok. We're going to get to it. I wanted to get those 3 things out of the way. Like I said, original plan was I think I got a clue now. Anyway, so Modulok was originally introduced in the Filmation series. He was not originally part of any of the mini comics or any of the any of the earlier comics or anything like that. He was originally introduced as a scientist by the name of Galen Nycroft, who was imprisoned for trying to take over Eternia. While he was in prison, he built a machine that would turn him into Modulok with the aid of his robotic bird bat. I got to really find that bird bat. I do not ever remember seeing that in Filmation anywhere, but I've drank too much too over time. He did originally want to join the Evil Warriors, but Skeletor thought that since he'd been a wimp scientist, that he'd be a wimp villain. Despite all this, he did manage to join the Evil Warriors. He always did consider Man-at-Arms his sworn enemy and coveted his intellect. Hell, who wouldn't have? The man could just about create anything. Despite what anybody might say, and I know there's been some pictures flown around on Facebook saying Duncan might be gay. We'll cover that another time. But he coveted his intellect so much that he went through and he created a robotic head in order to try to go through and transfer Duncan's brain power into it. However, he failed. Now, before going further, one thing I did notice with all my research and stuff I did about Modulok ahead of time was he had a ton, or just about every comic or series that he's involved in, he had a different backstory. Which finally, I think it was Classics. They went through and they kind of like chopped up all the different canon and mixed it all together, added some new little twist to it. So it made it really cool in the end with what the Classics Canon did for him. And I say it because here we're going to get to backstory, or Canon number 2, which was the 83 mini comics, which basically is like, it was unlike his filmation portrayal. His multitude of strange parts could basically go through and disassemble and reassemble at will. He was introduced as a former slave of Skeletor who managed to escape, and he pledged his services to Hordak in order to get revenge on Skeletor. So I remember seeing Modulok in the Filmation series, and then I remember, getting the vintage toy, and it said the Evil Horde. It wasn't until, Princess of Power came out, we saw that, and we will get to that here later. I remember as a kid, I was going, wait a minute, Horde? Wait, what? Then I started watching She-Ra with my little sister, and all went together. Although he served Hordak, he did plot to one day go through and overthrow the Horde leader. Now, he did go through in the mini comics, and he showed some twisted genius when he went through and created the robotic monster Multibot in his own image. He sent Multibot after the Masters. However, he kind of forgot about the fact that he had programmed Multibot to be also destroy Hordak, and on both counts, did not succeed. There's backstory number 2 we're getting here. Backstory canon number 3 we get. And this one's with the German audio plays that in 84. He was depicted as a former servant of, this is where I wish Joe was here, Glostofos. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, Joe, feel free to tell me later. For now, I'm just going to call him Gloss. Upon arriving in Eternia, he attacked the Masters, thus drawing the interest of Skeletor. Hordak, he was pretty familiar with Modulok and warned Skeletor that Modulok was extremely dangerous. Gloss went through and he provided a ring to both Skeletor and Hordak so that way they could go through and control Modulok. But when the ring was lost, he chose to stay in service with them. At that point, he went through over by Snake Mountain. He burrowed underneath the ground. That's where he decided to live. He burrowed under the ground like an ant, preferring the warmer climate under the ground. Maintained a very strong right. Too Bad, and it's something I covered a little bit last week whenever I was talking about Too Bad. Basically because he's wanting to be the only two-headed monster on Eternia. Always spoke with a single voice, but his multi-limb body could split into 2 separate beings. It's one of those things that you could somewhat do with the vintage version and the classics version. So, we go from the German audio plays now over to the German Interpark Condor comics, which expanded on his shape-shifting abilities to be like a lot more wide-ranging. They dubbed him the Demonic Master of Transformation. And he could go through and take the form of virtually anything, including insects, animals, monstrous beasts, and other characters around him. So, right there, we got like 4 different things, and we've gotten 4 different cannons. I almost wonder, like, did no one know what they were going to do with Modulok to start with? And Joe, I'm going to tell you right now, I keep wanting to say Modulok. I have to keep kind of like slowing myself down to catch it. From there, we go to the Princess of Power series, and this is where I finally caught on to everything about why Modulok's box said the Horde on it. You know, they pretty much, I mean, they picked up the reins from the Filmation series. Said he'd pretty much gotten fed up with Skeletor's mistreatment. He left Snake Mountain through a dimensional gate created by his latest invention, the Gate Maker. On Etheria, he joined the Horde as a scientist, even though he got demoted to cook after the Gate Maker failed Hordak. Poor feller can't catch a break. While as a member of Horde, he did go through and create Multibot. And he just demonstrated the ability to go through and turn his arms into weapons, like cannons. Yeah, it seemed like he was kind of I don't know if you want to say mocking or trying to show a little bit of respect there to Hordak by doing that. So from there, we will go into the 86 Marvel Star. Like I said, 5 different things, 4 different cannons. And this one, his 2 heads argue with one another, a trait more associated with Too Bad. And also in the 86 Marvel Star, he was also the one that created the Stargate. The 86 UK comic mags. He maintained his status as a brilliant scientist, but yet we're going to get another backstory. Was formerly a humanoid named Galen Nycroft. A little bit of a change in the lettering there, a couple letters missing there. And he's from an alien world. He was also a notorious thief and galactic enemy number 1. Joe, I think you know that feeling in the and all the Masters Universe pages that we're all part of. Especially if you're dealing with The Miz. He was captured and placed into the prison star. He did manage to escape. And he attempted to make a serum that would make him more powerful, but he was too distracted during its concoction. The incomplete serum would thus go through and turn him into Modulok. Hordak prevented him from being recaptured, and so with that, he went through and he joined the Horde. And being in his Modulok form, he made use of his multiple limbs in order to go through and combat multiple foes. Man, I'm burning through this thing tonight. Sweet. No. The 87 German Ihapa comics. In addition to the shape-shifting abilities, he could also swap body parts with Multibot. That was probably the first time we actually got to see all that. So from there, we would not get to see Modulok in the 2000X MYP series whenever they showed a little bit of the Horde. Kind of a letdown on that one. Still, truly to this day, for me, I think that was a series that I wish they had kept going with that, because after they got done with the Snake Men, I wish they went ahead and brought the Horde out, She-Ra out. They could have done a whole lot with that series. So now we're going to get over to the 2008 Classics Canon. I'll do that. It'll be so much easier for me. I'm not looking at two different things at once here, or three different things. Much like his character's physiology, they remixed and combined bits of all these other different canons and added some new details along the way to give him a really cool story. Once again, he was also called Galen Nycroft, not Galen Nycroft. And he was a scientist from the TriStar system. He was detained in the prison star awaiting execution. Well, he went through and built a device to where it would separate his body into many pieces, but each piece managed to go through and remain linked to his will. He escaped the prison star by going through, and pretty much a piece of them would go into crates that was being shipped to the Horde world. Hordak, he was impressed by this shit and decided he's going to recruit him on as a technician. Now, he did originally participate in the first Ultimate Battleground before being banished to Despondos with the rest of the Horde. When the Horde finally escaped Despondos thousands of years later, he would serve as their scientist. However, during that time, he would get injured in battle. Thus, he built Multibot as basically a reinforcement. And he discovered he could go through and combine himself with Multibot, thus forming the Ultra Beast. That just sounds badass. Now I kind of wish, I wish now I'd not gotten rid of my loose Multibot, so I could go through and take my loose Modulok and combine it with that, and that just really sounds like be something really fucking awesome. Much later on in time, he would return as part of the Ultra Beast. He would also be part of the third Ultimate Battleground whenever he was serving the Unnamed One. After the destruction of Castle Grayskull, he recovered the trapped spirit of Horde Prime, but never appeared to give it to the Unnamed One. Now, I looked just in case they had missed something in the book. And Modulok was not even in the 2012 DC Comics. Even though all that revolved around was mainly the Masters and eventually Snake Men and the Evil Warriors facing off with Evil Orko and the Horde. If there was ever a time that Modulok had his chance to get Duncan's head, his brain power, there it was. And he missed it. So anyways, that's our look at the backstory and canon to old Modulok. Joe, if you're still here, and I'm guessing you still are since I still show 2 viewers, is there seriously anything I might have missed in my research this week? Because I have a feeling I probably have missed something. Some little detail or something that's probably important as far as old Modulok goes. This is where I really wanted you, I was really hoping Google Hangouts would have worked. Because, like I said, the character definitely had a lot of interesting canons throughout the years. No matter where or what publication where the cartoon goes, he had there was a lot of interesting stuff there for him. I was rather impressed. I mean, I remember seeing him, like I said, in Filmation. I knew he was always part of the Horde. I lost somebody. But I do not ever remember, them actually talking about his former self. To me, I mean, that seems like something they would have tackled. Would have been perfect time to have tackled it. In the 2000X series, if they had gotten around to it. And this whole thing of creating the gate maker and crap, what else was there? The Stargate, creating that robotic head, creating Multibot. He did a lot of shit. That's pretty cool. All right, now, so we'll take a look. Now, this is not coming out of the box, and believe it or not, I don't know if anybody can hear that. It's still in the box now. This box ain't perfect. I was like, when it got shipped from the feller I got it from, it was already bent like that to him. Now, it's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's still unpunched. But, I mean, it had a lot of different parts to it. You could go through and create a whole ton of different looking Modulok figures for different things whenever you were playing with them. And you had Castle Grayskull set up, the Fright Zone set up, Slime Pit set up, Snake Mountain set up. There was a ton of different things you could transform him into in order to go through and get him to sneak into places. I had every intention on trying to find me a vintage one today, and I did not manage to do that while I was at Comic-Con. Take a good look here. I mean, I know as kids, we weren't one on really admiring the artwork too much. I know some people did. I was one of those ones I never really did. I might look at it for a minute back. Man, that's cool. Rip it open, get them all out, But they show, all the different little parts and stuff. And it's cool because, I mean, you had 3 different sets of legs, 2 different sets of arms, his 2 heads, different pieces for his waist, his chest, and all that. Multiple pieces to go through and connect, both his heads on and all of his different arms and legs. This is like a cool little thing to get a hold of whenever we were that age. We could have a lot of fun with that. And it was awesome. I honestly think that if the 2000X line had went through and they'd gotten around to dealing with the Horde or bringing Modulok in some way or another, that figure probably would have looked really fucking badass. And I probably have used more F-bombs in this one than I have in any other one, and I do apologize. So, Classics, they made sure to go through and they made sure we had all kinds of parts for Modulok. Believe it or not, like I went through and got mine through a friend, and he had like extra parts and stuff. He was trying to make like a super Modulok. But you had all kinds of articulation with the arms. And you had arms. I mean, you had 3 different sets of arms. Believe it or not, 4 different sets of legs that I did keep a hold of, without a doubt. Now, in this bag, anybody that is part of Scareglow's house, he was doing something called, body switch. I did a thing where I had an extra clawful head, attached it on. I had it on Modulok earlier this week. But yeah, I mean, you had, like I said, 4 different sets of legs here for him. Now, I don't know if this was intentional or what. I've got one back here that's actually still in the box. Never be opened up. But I have 2 different tails. Pieces here to help go through and I think help transform him into Ultra Beast if you have the multi-bot. I mean, this right here, I mean, you go through and you could take this thing and you could seriously go through and still transform him into a lot of different little, Modulok figures. I mean, you had it all. I mean, you had the setup action, all the different points of articulation, the ankles, the knees. Now, I did notice the feet did have, and all the sets had the side-by-side thing, which I know in previous reviews on some of the figures, and I think it was the Mattel Filmation He-Man did that, and I just really didn't like it because of the fact that it seemed like those joints were really loose, but Classics managed to get it right with Modulok, without a doubt, and kept them pretty tight, so I got to give it that one. You had all kinds of different pieces go through and really transform them into like one single figure, just one head, one set of arms, legs, tail. Go through and supersize him. To me, he was the all-terrain bad guy. No matter if he was part of the Evil Warriors or he's part of the Horde. So, I mean, really, that was really badass looking. The only thing I didn't like almost forgot. Much like his Classics cannon or counterpart, it had the gun that would go through. I had double check because it's been a while since I actually had the vintage one, a loose vintage one. The gun would come apart into 2 separate parts. So that way he could go through and he could have a gun for each side. And whether you had him going, one side facing one way, the other side facing another way, he was on it. He was truly on it. He had everything going. From a standpoint, I wish they'd made more figures like him to go through and make it a little bit easier to go through. And, if we got multiple ones, go through and make it a little bit easier to switch parts around without having to go through and dip them in really hot water, or, get the bodies all warmed up to where it softens the plastic, the rubberized plastic, in order to get the parts to pop loose. They nailed it as far as the sculpt goes on this thing. The sculpt was absolutely phenomenal. Which, in all honesty, even in the vintage version, that's still a pretty good sculpt right there for at the time. And they really went through and they knocked this one out of the park. With that being said, here comes the Super 7 bashing of the day, or of the week, or of this month. Because let's see. I haven't really had a chance to really bash on Super 7, not since I did the Holiday He-Man Laughing Prince Adam video. But they're going to do a Club Grayskull version of Modulok, and while the figure, the head, and majority of the body looks really good and filmation accurate, we know we're going to end up getting stuck with that shiny damn plastic they do with every other figure as far as the Club Grayskull line goes. 2, I know, and everybody watching this is going to know, they're going to mess up something with the paint app. And I guarantee you it's going to have something to do with the eyes. 3, and it's the biggest elephant in the room when we talk about Super 7's Club Grayskull Modulok. It is the damn neck. I don't know I know they're trying to, with them, to go through and keep them from where they can be taken apart and made into different figures. But still, they could have done a whole lot better with that neck sculpt. Now, will they go through and change it before they ship them to the general public? I can hope so. But I got a feeling that is not going to be the case with this. Not one single bit. And it's a shame because they had a really good chance to do something really awesome with that character, with that figure. And the neck. I know already that neck is going to be all fudged up. And you say, I am seriously waiting for whenever people start getting them and start posting videos of the figures. Or if I happen to get a set myself and it's still being debated. There is one thing I'm going to like about it. From what I'm seeing off the pictures, they're going to go through and give us the 3-legged version, just like Filmation. Now, here's where I hope that they don't screw this up. When we got the vintage toy and even the classics toy, we had the multiple sets of legs, and all that. That was awesome. That was cool. But in Filmation and in Princess of Power, he only had 3 legs. Now, with that being said, hopefully Super 7 does not go through and add pieces to try to combine both the Filmation and the vintage figure together. They've done it before. He-Man is a perfect example of this. And both Super 7 and Mattel, or no, Super 7 was... No, Super 7 didn't do it. No, I take that back. There was something I was talking about. Oh, I remember what it was. It was the 5.5-inch figure that Super 7 put out in the vintage style, in the vintage 5.5 style. They said they were going for Filmation 5.5s. They gave us the look of the Filmation 5.5. They gave us all the accessories for the vintage 5.5. So hopefully they don't turn around and do that and send extra parts for Modulok. I can hope, I can pray, I can wish for it. Will I get it? I don't know. Oh, sorry. Throughout the week also dealing with this other stuff, I've had a little bit of a head cold. So if I sound a little bit different than most nights, that is why. All right, now, ratings time, something I started, I think, beginning of the season. I'm going to go with, without a doubt, I will go with, in all honesty, both toys. I'm going to go, I'll seriously go 5 out of 5 because I have yet to find an issue with either one of my Moduloks, even the vintage one I had back in the day. Because, I mean, like I said, you go through and transform all kinds of cool little creatures in order to go through and get around, you know, Snake Mountain, sneak into Castle Grayskull and all that. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I'm not going to say that too much about the Super 7 one, even though I don't have it yet. No one does. But just from what we're seeing so far, and I know once those come out and I get a hold of one, I will go through and do a review on that one. Right now, I'm only going to stick at 3.5 or 3 stars out of 5 with the Super 7 Filmation Modulok. Because that neck, and I got a feeling by the time it arrives in people's hands, knowing Super 7's track record, probably going to go downward. But who knows? I've seen I've seen a lot of pictures of Wave 3 figures so far of their Club Grayskull. Maybe this time they were starting to get it right by not trying to rush 2 lines at once with the Collector's Choice and the Club Grayskull all at once. So we'll see. All right, so with all that being said, next week we're going to talk about the Avion, the Winged Warrior of the Skies, that gray or flesh colored dude, depending on which line or which one you like better. from the land of Avion, and I'm talking about Stratos. So hopefully we can have some fun with that one next week with Stratos. Maybe I can eventually get this thing fixed to where I can get a guest on here. Once again, I want to thank Joe Amato for going through and being, for attempting to be a guest tonight. Gonna have to see what I can fix in the next week. Joe, you are always welcome to join me on my show. And if anybody has not had a chance to, go through and check out Joe Amato Custom Creations. He does some fantastic work that he ain't going through, and he's not molding pieces from other ones. He's going through and sculpting them out. He's done some fantastic work over time. I've got a piece of for one of Joe Amato's customs, and my dad actually has one of Joe Amato's customs, so he's definitely worth checking out. Check out all the sites on Facebook involving the Masters Universe, and I'm talking about Lucky Legends, the Man Cave, Lord Destruction Waffles, the most powerful waffles in the universe. Feel free to go through and unbox those toys online on Facebook at The Great Unboxing. Let's see what else. Get to be a part of the member of any of those groups. There's a group called WaffleCon, or there's a page called WaffleCon 2019. We will eventually do that again this year. Hopefully this year we will be in Virginia for that one. Drinking beer, swapping toys, swapping stories, and just having a good old time. So with that being said, I'm E-Daddy, your angry toy guy, who honestly this week really didn't have much to be angry about other than Funko losing a license, so-called movie in the works, and Super 7's attempt at trying to make us a Filmation Modulok. But anyways, like I said, I'm E-Daddy, your angry toy guy. And remember, until next week, keep on collecting. So way these toy lines, they don't ever die. See y'all next week.